We welcome you to the Treasure Valley tonight, where we bring you a star-studded late-night clash in USL League One. AC Boise returns to its coveted home field advantage against Westchester SC. And tonight's match is presented by the Idaho Ford Dealers, alongside the former Manchester United goalkeeper Gary Bailey. I'm Sam Goldfarb, and Gary, Boise on the road last week at AV Alta. A strong display, but only a draw, and they felt like they could have gotten much more.
They certainly could have. Dennis Kostasham with an early lead, and they allowed the AV Alta side to level through Amish. But Nick Moon's header there got them in their lead. And the just question is, could they have held on to it? Could they have been defensively tighter? They had a higher XG. There seemed to be, all the data seemed to suggest they could have won it. But in the end, it was an attack from AV Alta. Jerry Desdoon gets a chance to equalize it. And just the 1 point for Boise.
AC Boise looking for its second league victory of the year, and Nick Moon might have a role to play. A pair of goals in the last two matches.
Yeah, both against AV Alta and Spokane Velocity. Ex-Tampa Bay is one of the teams that he's been at. He's a quality player, played at a very high level, 29 years of age, at his peak. He can be a very influential player in this game, can Nick Moon.
On the opposite end of things for Westchester, this is a side that has won back-to-back league matches, including a dominant display against Sarasota.
Jimenez with the pass here for Dean Guzan to stick that one in the back of the net. And a good early lead, and they played really well and created another opportunity. Carl Evans with a run and a shot. Keeper can just about palm it out. And who's there? Dean Guzan again, just to finish it off.
A brace for Guzan, and unsurprisingly, in the wake of that performance, he is our player to watch tonight.
Yeah, the 27-year-old Guzan. He started off at Ajax and PSV academies, which are two of the best in the Netherlands, played in Holland as well. So fantastic soccer background, and expect to see some good play from him this evening.
He is the standout, the creative talisman for Westchester. Just about ready to get everything underway here from the Treasure Valley. A second ever home match for AC Boise, and they hope to pull off a victory over the Golden Apple when we return. Stick with us, lineups and kickoff when we come back on the Golazo Network.
Every day, you give it all you've got, because every day demands it. Chasing, climbing, committing, until something takes you down. At St. Alphonsus, our sports medicine team gets you back up with sharp minds and steady hands, helping everyday athletes like you take on tomorrow. So when you demand greatness, bring it.
In 1977, Ford F-Series became America's best-selling trucks. 33 million trucks later, we've kept that title every year since. And that's a formula we plan on repeating. F-Series, America's best-selling trucks for 49 years and counting. And Ford, the most awarded brand for initial quality among trucks by J.D. Power. Ford F-Series, built Ford tough.
Every business has a story. Maybe you're just getting started. Maybe you're expanding. Maybe you're ready for a fresh start with a bank that truly cares about your business. We're Banner Bank, and we want your business to succeed, to stay competitive, to get to the next level. And we have a long history of helping businesses just like yours. Banner Bank. Better ideas, better banking.
Hey buddy, why aren't we catching anything? I bet they're deeper down. Mom?
Unexpected plumbing issues? Diamond can help with prompt, reliable, high-quality service. Call the amazing team at Diamond Heating, Cooling, Plumbing, and Electric. From leaky faucets and broken pipes to water heaters and softeners, Diamond's 5-star heroes can help. Diamond.
Your home's best friend.
The USL on CBS is presented by Best Western Hotels and Resorts, the official hotel partner of the United Soccer League. We welcome you to the Treasure Valley, where we are just about set for kickoff in the second ever home match for Athletic Club Boise. They host Westchester SC, and tonight's player walkout is presented by Ford. We welcome you back to the Expo in Idaho. Alongside Gary Bailey, I'm Sam Goldfarb. Here is your look at tonight's starting lineups, which are brought to you by the Idaho Ford dealers.
3 changes for the team that drew at AVL. Jonathan Cleaver comes in goals after a few errors by Joseph and Demo. Also starting Charlie Adams, a host of experience that he brings to the party, and Thomas Among up front, and Musa Inye and Luan Brito also go to the bench.
On the opposite end of things for Westchester, a few changes from the victory over Sarasota. Keep your eye on Daniel Burko, who's back in the squad.
Charlie Dickinson also comes in. Max Jennings drops to the bench. Makic gets a start. Noah Powder. Those are the changes from the NYCFC Open Cup match. 4-3-3 is the shape, and keep an eye on Connor McGlynn and Kyle Evans bombing through with their skills from midfield.
Kyle Evans has been the breakout star for Westchester through the opening month of the season. We'll see if he can take that show on the road as Westchester makes its longest road trip of the year to date. This should be a fun one. It is a Boise crowd that, in its home opener, set a attendance record in USL League One, 7,211 in the facility, and tonight doesn't look any different. It looks jam-packed. This should be a raucous crowd in support of their beloved athletic club Boise. It is Westchester in their road strips, the white jerseys with the blue accents and black numbers. They'll be going right to left on your screen. AC Boise in the black and green with the white numbers from left to right. We just await Servando Berna's signal to get everything underway here in Boise, Idaho. And that we are. AC Boise and Westchester in front of a jam-packed Expo on the outskirts of Boise, Idaho. Sam Goldfarb, the former Manchester United goalkeeper, Gary Bailey on hand for this one. We thank you for joining us on the CBS Sports Golazo Network. And Gary, it is a Westchester side in flying form in the league. The question is, can they take that form and make an impact away from home in this hostile environment?
But it is a hostile environment, and I think that's the big issue. This crowd is absolutely fantastic at Boise, breaking records, and it makes it difficult for visiting sides. And I think it's going to be a big challenge for a high-scoring Westchester side today.
There's a side in Westchester that scored the most goals in the league. AC Boise, 6 goals for, 6 goals allowed. But when you look at the XG disparity, over 2 more XG for than XGA. And we talked to Nate Miller about that, and he mentioned that at the end of the day, they just need to finish their chances and defend better. We can't talk about what we deserve, it's about what we have.
Absolutely, and they've had more touches in the opposition box in every single game they've played. So the stats, along with what you mentioned, their XG differential being 2.27, which means it's 2.27 added up over all the games more than the opposition. I mean, that's really positive. For an expansion side coming into the league, getting that sort of data straight away is extremely impressive. So a great credit there to Nate Miller.
It is a side that has invested tremendously in bringing in players with vast degrees of USL Championship and other experience throughout the United States and beyond. This, on paper, is one of the more fearsome units in the league. Just 1 win in the first 4, but it is a side that has looked much better than its record indicates. As you see Charlie Adams, one of the former Nate Miller disciples, playing this forward, and it is claimed by Andrew Hammersley. It's now time for our injury report, which is presented by St. Alphonsus. None reported for either side, but Westchester a thin bench, just 17 traveling to Boise here tonight.
Just going back to your point about Boise maybe getting more from the games they've played, which they've split with a win, 2 draws and a loss, which again is not bad for an expansion side, but Coach Nate Miller saying a couple of mistakes by Joseph Andema have cost the team up to 5 points, which is why he's been dropped. Made a mistake against Union Omaha, dropping the ball from across, and against Spokane Velocity with a very poor pass out from the back. And if you add those 5 points, then they'd be right up there in the sort of front runners in this particular league.
Jonathan Cleaver getting his first start. Nate Miller raving about his shot-stopping ability. As you see Nick Moon range forward here, picks out Moshe Bon. He was forced wide. Kostashin to the back post and heading out by Jimenez for the match's first corner.
It's a Sun Cruiser corner kick.
Well, fans, it's a Sun Cruiser corner kick. 3 minutes, you see the River Guard packing the Expo. It is a stadium in which there's not an empty seat, and it was the case 2 weeks ago in the 1-1 draw against Spokane Velocity. We have a tremendous atmosphere on our hands here. This is the first corner of the night for either side. Adams without swing to the heart of the area. Headed away, another corner on the way.
One of the things that makes it difficult for Westchester is the crowd is right on top of you. They're literally a couple of feet away. You could probably hear half of the things they're saying or singing, which it makes for a great atmosphere, but it does make it very intimidating for the visiting side, especially should Westchester go a goal or two down. Then you can expect to hear all sorts of comments from the crowd.
They have to weather yet another set piece, and this time it will be an in-swinger from the captain, Charlie Adams. It's another Sun Cruiser corner kick. It comes in with in-swing, flicked along at the near post, but well over Hammersley's goal. It's time for our keys to the game presented by Ford.
First keys, and from a Boise point of view, watch out for the quick transition. Nate Miller saying Westchester are very, very good at catching you on the counter-attack whenever you throw bodies forward. From a Westchester point of view, Coach George Jakai saying we don't want to be too expansive or even too ambitious, because then you leave gaps. We like to keep it very tight. They've scored the most goals in the league, but they've conceded the third most. So he just feels that if they can keep their defense tight, don't take too many risks, the goals will still come. So that's the point of view of both the coaches.
It's an interesting point you bring up about George Jokai and playing perhaps a more conservative style away from home here. Oddly enough, when we talked to Nate Miller, who you see on your screen right now, he expected something very similar. He said at the end of the day, we want to dictate the match on our terms and just ensure that we can find a way to play through Westchester, not around them. That is the key, making sure that they're playing with incision, not just aimless possession.
It's always difficult for coaches because they want to play good soccer. They know how to do it. But sometimes it just doesn't work that way. You come up against a team that doesn't allow you much time on the ball. There's an example of good closing down by Westchester, not allowing Boise to play out the back. So you can have all these wonderful plans, but when you get out there and start the game, well, that's when it gets difficult.
Everyone has a game plan until they get popped in the mouth, right?
Exactly.
So far, Boise has been on the front foot. Here's Ricketts, one of the many players with vast USL Championship experience. Continues his run forward. Moon. Goals in the last two, and did score the first ever AC Boise goal on this ground in the second half of that Spokane draw. That a magical moment for a first-year club that has been building for a season like this for multiple years on end. So many years in which there were rumblings about Boise getting a USL team. It was finally made official 2 years ago, and now they have their product on the pitch. Moon, dispossessed by Kyle Evans. Kostashin. Mayaka.
You're talking about Boise and all their plans to come into the league, but this is not where they intend to stay, according to Nate Miller. With promotion relegation coming in the next few years, he sees Boise going up the ladder to USL and perhaps even further. It depends if there's going to be a USL Super League, maybe MLS join one day, so perhaps the stadium won't be big enough in the years to come.
Here's Bodily. He's looking to dance around Jimenez and does. Curls it goalward and didn't miss that by much. But the ambition they've shown off the pitch has been mirrored by it on the pitch so far.
He's a good player, Blake Bodily. Again, played at a decent level in the USL, knows exactly what he has to do there. Ex-Tampa Bay player. In fact, if you go through this Boise side, they really have brought some talent in. Charlie Adams is another one who's played at USL level. Nick Moon, Thomas Among, Tumi Moshaban. They're all USL players.
You get your look at Nate Miller, his first season with AC Boise, and someone who, as you mentioned, was impressed by the ambition that the sporting group showed when they tried to bring him to the club. He said, they came after me, someone with USL Championship experience, and also said to me that going forward, especially with Pro-Rel, they expect to make the leap up the divisions. And he was very impressed by that, and someone with years of experience coaching across the footballing pyramid. Most recently, a pair of years as an assistant in MLS, but best known for his seasons with San Diego Loyal in USL Championship. And you see many of his former players now members of AC Boise.
You say many, I think half the team has played for him. Moshe Barn, Charlie Adams, Among, Nick Moon, Blake Bodley. That's 5 that I can pick out here already. And I think as a coach, when you know players and 5 of them have played for you, then it's a lot easier to manage the team and to talk to them and to get your ideas across.
To your point, 6 players in the starting 11 tonight for AC Boise have played for Nate Miller at some point.
And that's 5 there from San Diego Loyal, and the other one is?
Jake Kroll in college in
there
NAIA.
Wow. Well, then they know him, they know what he's like, they know what to expect, and that just makes his job a lot easier. And that's why, obviously, he's going to get them, is because he wants those people on the pitch to be able to respond exactly to what he says.
Another corner coming for AC Boise. They have been on the front foot through these opening 10 minutes. It is Charlie Adams once again. As Boise still hunts that opener. They've been on the front foot from the jump. Without swing this time. Headed away only as far as Bodley. The whistle sounds. And there's a Westchester player prone on the pitch.
He was holding his head, and I think the moment that happens, the referee has to intervene.
It's Bobby Pierre.
Everybody was throwing their head towards us. A lot of bravery. Look at those bodies going in. There was a late run and a connection on the side of the head there for Bobby Pierre. Took the knock, grabbed his head, and referee quite rightly, as soon as the ball came out, blew his whistle. Now he's going to have to drop it to the team that had it, which was Boise out wide.
You heard the collective groan from the sellout crowd that transpired when that occurred.
Well, having said that, if he blew it up in the box, then it goes to the goalkeeper. So I think that's what's going to happen, which is a pity for Boise because they had the ball out wide. But if he goes to the point where the injury is and drops it there, then automatically it goes straight to Andrew Hammersley. And I think he's insisting that Bobby Pierre leave the pitch for further checking, which again is what a lot of referees do with head injuries.
That does appear to be the case. Physios are out now looking at Bobby Pierre. Gives us a chance to check in on the man leading things for Westchester Soccer Club, first-year head coach in George Jokai, who's presiding over everything. He's done a great job revitalizing a club that finished bottom of USL League One a year ago, has overhauled the roster, brought in players with Westchester ties who are a little younger, have a track record of being healthier, and on the pitch, the results have started to follow.
He seems to be a very, very good leader of his players. Got the sunglasses on there, so it looks like he's relaxing, but I'm going to show you he's not. He'll be very tense, but a player himself in the US, and even spent some time at Kaiserslautern in Germany, so obviously a very, very good soccer background.
What's interesting about his journey to USL League One as well, so many ties in the youth game in Westchester County in the New York City area. He played a part in the player recruitment base for NYCFC ahead of their inaugural season. Well, about a decade later, a little over, who's he managing against in the US Open Cup on Tuesday night? It was New York City FC. Didn't quite go according to plan, fell 5-2, but it was a full circle moment for someone in the early stages as a professional coach.
They went in with a shot after 22 minutes. It was 1-1, and they must have been thinking, well, here we are a quarter of the way through the game, and we're in this match. But all of a sudden, NYCFC just put 3 in the back of the net. It was 4-1 by halftime, and effectively match over. But again, it's to be expected. There's such a gulf between the money that MLS can spend and League One can spend that you wouldn't have expected a victory. But they certainly gave a good account of themselves for a while.
Daniel Burko was part of that equalizer. Max Jennings was ultimately credited. It was a monumental night, though, for the club. They sold out their home venue. Here's Burko, dispossessed by Ricketts. Referee waves play on. Evans tried to poke it forward. It was read well by Jake Dengler. Moshaban with options as well, and darts inside. Was hunting the run of Kostashin. Now Moon. Ricketts. Venturing forward from center back. It's an appetizing ball to Nick Moon. Hammersley is there to cut out the angle.
Good goalkeeping there from Andrew Hammersley. Very brave, very strong. Nick Moon had got around the back and maybe had beat the offside trap, but the big goalkeeper there deals with the problem.
Enters the night leading USL League One in saves. 19 on a near 80% clip. Evans loses this out of play. Fans, if Athletic Club Boise scores 3 or more goals tonight, you win. Athletic Club Boise has partnered with Restore Hyper Wellness. If ACB scores 3 or more goals, all fans will receive a $25 gift certificate to Restore Hyper Wellness. Well, just under a quarter of an hour gone in this key clash out west between AC Boise and Westchester Soccer Club. Sam Goldfarb, the former Manchester United goalkeeper Gary Bailey, is with me on hand. So far, Boise on the front foot, but still looking for avenues through this Westchester backline. Here's Bodley, and another corner coming for ACB.
It's good early pressure by Boise. That's a concern for coach George Shakai there. He wants to see his team get on the front foot. They've got the 2 top goal scorers in the league, Dean Guzan and Connor McGlynn. We haven't seen them even create half a chance yet because they've been so busy defending against this exciting Boise side.
Defending set pieces as well. This is in from Adams, headed along by Kroll. It's still loose and driven home. AC Boise strike first. Moshaban wheels away in celebration. 1-0.
And well deserved for Boise because they've been putting the pressure on. They're beginning the set pieces. They've been dropping that ball in the box, asking questions. Up until that moment, Westchester defended it, but you keep that pressure on, something might happen. And the ball drops to Tumi Moshaban, and he sticks it in the back of the net. There's the ball in. It was one initially, an important header from Jake Krul, and then it just bounces. There's Jake Krul coming up, wins the header. Ball drops there, Moshaban there, just pokes it in the back of the net. Gives Boise a well-deserved lead.
Tumi Moshaban opens his AC Boise account, and AC Boise with their first lead on their newly minted home park. It is a player who has been a regular under Nate Miller throughout his career. Spent time at Lansing Ignite, and then of course moved to San Diego Loyal where he excelled. And that was a goal presented by Restore Hyper Wellness. It is a first tally for AC Boise on the evening.
If you look at the live table as it stands, Boise will go a point above Westchester with a game in hand, and they'll have Union Omaha and those in the top 4 in their sights. So exciting times for Boise fans and for Nate Miller, assuming, of course, this result holds. And there's a long way to go before it does. But again, in the live table, as it stands right now, Boise in 5th position, looking great with a game in hand.
Well, he's spoken about wanting to be more ruthless in the opponent penalty area. Despite even scoring 2 goals against AV Alta last week, they had chances to win that match as well as the Spokane match a couple weeks ago on this very ground. Here tonight, they're showing that teeth that's required. But Evans has won this back for Westchester and immediately gives it away to Bodley.
Thomas Among got knocked over. It's about the 2nd or 3rd time he's been knocked over. Referee hasn't given anything for him yet. And he's a powerful player up front, and you need those as your 9. You need someone who can deal with the bumping and the pushing and try and win you free kicks at crucial moments.
He's certainly a change of pace from Luan Brito, who was the go-to starter through the opening 4 matches, but someone who picked up a knock last time out against AV Alta, and so he was questionable for the night. He is on the bench, but it opens the door for a more experienced player like Among, who's played in USL Championship as well as Danish football back in the day. Kostashin. Ricketts. It's forced back to Jonathan Cleaver for the first time tonight.
This is a great opportunity for Jonathan Cleaver to grab that #1 spot after the errors of the goalkeeper before, and it cost them 5 points, which Nate Miller, imagine the difference that would be if they had extra 5 points. But Joseph Van Demmer with those vital errors. Great chance for Jonathan Cleaver to make this his spot.
There's Makic crossing it in, and Dean Guzin, who hit it on the volley, and it's amongst the river guard now.
You see, this is what happens when you play against a team who have a fantastic crowd like that right up close to you. You get to feel everything they feel, and it can be quite unsettling at times. Mind you, if he'd have scored that, Dean Guzin, I would have suggested he retire and pack it in, because that would have been the goal of the season. To hit that thing on the volley and score would have been a great strike. But, you know, good on him that he has the confidence to have a go.
At that point, you sub yourself off the pitch,
That's
right?
it, that's it. It's a mic drop moment.
I tell you what, you're getting some British football support vibe from the river guard. The loud cheers after the errant volley. Here's Moon strolling forward on the break now for Boise. Kostashin in space and finishes. It is a buzzsaw from Boise, and they're 2-0 to the good.
Good finish, Dennis Kostashin. 2 goals already in 4 matches. Natural goal scorer. Gets put into a really good position to finish. So look at that crowd. What a fabulous vibe there is at the Expo there with these Boise fans. But there's so much quality in this Boise side that it's very difficult for Westchester to keep an eye on everything there, including Nick Moon, head up, just waits for the right moment. Thought for a second he'd left it a little bit too long there, Dennis Kostashin. Thought it was touch and hit, and he just waits, and then he connects and just tucks it into the far corner. Another good goal by Boise.
They have put Westchester to the sword, and Dennis Kostashin has joined the party. Boise 2, Westchester 0. It is Dennis Kostashin in the 21st minute, who has made it 2 in 5 minutes of actual time for Boise. That goal presented by Restore Hyper Wellness. It's Dennis Kostashin, a player who first came on Nate Miller's radar when he coached at San Diego Loyal, played for El Paso Locomotive, and during that season played against San Diego and really impressed Nate Miller. And so there were conversations between Coach Miller and his agent, Dennis Kostashin's agent, about bringing him to San Diego Loyal the following year. But of course, San Diego Loyal did not compete in the USL Championship the following year. So as a result, Dennis Kostashin goes abroad, plays in his native Ukraine, plays in Kosovo as well, and Nate Miller just keeps tabs on him, communicates with his agent. There's a group chat between the 3 of them, and when this club came to fruition, Dennis Kostashin, one of the first texts he made when trying to bring players to the club, and now he scores at the Expo.
Well, that's the sort of work that you don't see when you look at coaches and you look at results and you look at their impact on players, but it's the building of the team as Nick Moon finds himself in an offside position. The building of this team to find 5 players that played at the level of San Diego Loyal and bring them all together. That's excellent work by Nate Miller. As you said, to stay in touch with Dennis Kostashin and make sure you bring him here. None of that stuff just happens. That's the hard yards you put in as a coach. Thomas, he's not getting any decisions going his way as yet.
I think he'd be happier now that the scoreline's 2-0, and now you see him crack a smile. Well, fans, the USL and the CBS Sports Network wraps up the month of April with a Prince Tires USL Cup Group 5 matchup. Eastern rivals Hartford Athletic and Rhode Island FC battle it out at 7 p.m. Eastern on April 25th. Catch all the action on the CBS Sports Network.
If Boise keep playing like this, it'll get more and more difficult to actually get into the stadium because it's packed to capacity, isn't it? 7,500 plus minus?
Yes, I believe they were nearing sellout territory in the midweek, and usually with the way human nature works, people try to buy tickets closer to the date. So I'm sure this is a sellout. It was certainly a sellout 2 weeks ago when they set the attendance record at this venue. Be the toughest ticket in town, dare I say. Here's Kostashin, the most recent goal scorer. That was his 3rd of the year, and that's cleverly done by Mayaka.
Singing on Boise Till I Die, which is another English Premiership song, or not just Premiership, English song.
You're getting vibes. You're getting vibes of English support here.
Oh, absolutely. I love it. It's the fun thing to do when you go to stadiums. You want to shout and cheer for your side, but when you've got songs that you all know and you sing together, you can see, look at that vibe they've got going there. It's real fun, and that, of course, is what you get when you go to Europe, especially into England, to watch soccer there, football as they call it there. You'll just end up singing for 90 minutes. Well, if your team's winning. If you're not winning, you end up swearing for 90 minutes. But either way, it's an interactive experience.
Well, everybody's gotten amongst it here in Boise, and I feel like it's more of the former than the latter right now. Boise 2-0 to the good. Goals by Tumi Moshaban and Dennis Kostashin, separated by 5 minutes, making a world of difference. Well, fans, watch the USL Championship in Spanish on 2DN, the nation's leading Spanish language sports network. Go to USLChampionship.com for the complete USL TV listings. And the match's first yellow card has been brandished. It appears Connor McGlynn is the recipient.
Clear foul, no question. Pulled to the ground, referee very quick to get the yellow card out, and it's in a decent position for a free kick.
Ladies and gentlemen, the referee has issued a yellow card
Well, it's
to
Timchenko, yep.
Westchester Soccer Club, number 5, Tim
Never good to have your
Timchenko.
centre back on a yellow this early in a match. I mean, that just shows you the pressure that Westchester have been put under by Boise so far in this match.
Well, fans, that yellow card was presented by Diamond Heating and Cooling. And another free kick for AC Boise. Presented by St. Alphonsus. It's driven goalward. Didn't miss by that much. Hammersley had to watch it sail over.
I'm not sure whether he was meaning to shoot that at goal or trying to cross that. It ends up being a shot at target, or just off target, but I thought the idea was to try whip it into the center. But either way, we're not going to pick holes in anything Boise are doing, because they're 2-0 up and playing really good football at the moment.
If you're Westchester, it has the feeling of you need to survive these next 20 minutes and just get to halftime, maybe steal one on a set piece, but they've had no foothold in this match from the get-go.
They've had a tough midweek match against NYCFC. That takes it out of you. They ended up losing 5-2, and they've got to travel as well. You know, we were asking Nate Miller about that, saying, is it to your advantage? And he goes, no, well, sometimes when you play midweek, you get into a rhythm. But generally speaking, most teams actually tire. There's fatigue. And now, of course, there's travel fatigue as well for Westchester. And I think it's showing they just can't get going in this match. And I think you're 100% right. All they can do is hang in here and hope that they can get one back somehow and get themselves back into the game, because they really haven't threatened Boise that much.
See Kyle Evans trying to insert himself into the match, and instead greeted by a 2-footer from Jake Dangler. And there's your welcome to the league moment for the 20-year-old. Upended by one of the established veterans in the division. Dickerson. Finally, some semblances of possession, but it's a loose pass from McGlynn. Bodily. Guzin committing the foul. Jimenez. Converted right back today. We're used to playing as a winger or an attacking midfielder. They look long for Burko. He's shoved down and the referee is happy to oblige.
There was a late hit in the back there for the free kick. Maybe a sort of rare opportunity for Westchester just to get some bodies forward, get them in the box and try and float one in, see what happens.
These are the moments where maybe they can steal a goal and tilt the tide. Guzin and Armas. Guzin arcs it in. Headed away by Dengler. Run down by Ricketts, who prevents it from going out for a corner. And that's an error from Dickerson. Among looking to stroll away. Chance not lost yet. Mo Shaban weaving through defenders. And Jimenez finally does the job. That nearly was a nightmarish moment for Dickerson and the Westchester defense.
Thomas Among doing so well early on there to win the ball and takes the tackle. The ball ends up with Moshaban. He had no support, he had no one around him, so he had to go on his own in the end. Took a while for the others in the black and green shirts to get up with him. But again, Thomas Among, such a good outlet when you want to catch teams in transition.
Flick on from Burko. It is right back to the goalkeeper, Cleaver, who's hardly had 2 touches of the ball so far. Moon. Dispossessed by Armas. Makic. That's a late challenge on Dengler. It was Kyle Evans who logged it.
Dengler doing well there just to give Kyle Evans some problems from behind and then get in front of him for the ball. There he is challenging and then just steps in front of him here and allows the contact to win the free kick.
Among. Kostashin has space. Mayaka.
Boise just trying to draw out Westchester here. When you're 2-0 up, you can do that. You knock the ball around. If Westchester don't want to come and close you down, well, you just keep possession. Here they are, just drawing the bodies out to see if they can make some space behind.
This time they turn it over, though. And Burko strolling the other direction for Westchester. And awaiting support. This is Daniel Burko, who left it dangling. Guzin tracks it down. McGlynn. Finally starting to see some of the key playmakers for the Golden Apple get on the ball. Guzin. Appetizing ball forward towards Connor McGlynn. Diving tackle does the job. Now falls for Evans. There's just no way through this Boise back line at the moment. Recovering so well. Guzin. Sent for a tumble. Among wins it back. And that is the first whistle he'll feel he's gotten all night.
That's a good spell for Westchester. Some lovely play on that left-hand side. Oh, yellow card there, another one.
Ermin Makic in the book.
I was just praising them for some really good work around the fringes of the box. Let's see, it wasn't Makic's first. I think he's had one or two of those, and that's probably for accumulation of fouls. But there's some nice plays, some little interplay on the edge of the box, and only some great defending by Boise stopped them.
That yellow card was presented by Diamond Heating and Cooling. For those that are just joining us on the CBS Sports Golazo Network, we thank you for tuning in. We're here at the Expo in Idaho, where AC Boise, in their second ever home match, leads Westchester SC 2-0. A pair of goals separated by 5 minutes earlier this half from Tumi Mosheban and Dennis Kostashin make all of the difference. As Timchenko is in retreat here. Just bashes away. Westchester only now starting to find its foothold in this match.
Well, they're boxed in the corner. You know where that came from? Jonathan Cleaver, the goalkeeper, knocking it all the way down the pitch. And again, that's the difference perhaps between him and... I'll tell you more in a moment.
Chance may be on here. Here's Evans on early cross, and Cleaver passes his first semi-test.
Joseph Van Demmer, a couple of games ago against Pecan Velocity, trying to play out the back, played it straight to one of their players who scored. I like what Jonathan Cleaver's doing. If he's not sure, bang it down the pitch, because within 2 seconds they had Westchester boxed in the corner. And sometimes a long ball, a long kick out of defense is not always a bad thing. Under Pep Guardiola and the success at Man City, it became a bad thing. But I think more and more coaches are saying, if you have to knock it long, not a problem, knock it long. Let's put some pressure on the opposition in their half of the pitch.
It is an interesting point you bring up, because Nate Miller was quick to mention Cleaver is a much different profile to Ndema. Ndema more known for his ability to play with his feet in college. Meanwhile, Jonathan Cleaver is known for his shot stopping. So playing it simpler in that scenario is not the worst idea in the world.
Well, for me, a goalkeeper, the first thing you have to do is do the shot stopping. That's number one. Don't give goals away, keep them out, save the shots. If you're not good with your feet, knock it long, which is pretty much what Jonathan Cleaver's done, and it's worked.
What you'll like to hear about Cleaver is that Nate Miller says he has MLS level shot stopping ability.
Wow, that's an impressive comment. No pressure on Jonathan Cleaver then to live up to that.
We haven't even seen him test it, so I guess we'll find out on the fly. He's a player who most recently played at Missouri State this past fall, bounced in and out of the lineup there. As this is played forward to Among, and the flag stays down for Boise here. It's claimed by Hammersley.
Nice hands from Andrew Hammersley there. Been a tough one for the keeper. He hasn't had much to do, but what has come his way has gone past him. No fault of his in either of the goals.
Two well-placed finish. Mosheban the tap in after some chaos in the area, and then of course Kostashin just lashing at it and putting it in the back of the net. Native of Garden City, New York, who's in just his second professional season and enjoying a heightened role after bouncing in and out of the 11 a year ago. It's a goalkeeping battle that is still open, though. Matias Molina has impressed when given the opportunity as well. Bodily, strolling forward, a native of Idaho, grew up just about 20 minutes from downtown Boise. AC Boise was actually doing an interview piece with him about coming to the club, and he spoke about how, despite the fact that he's played in MLS with Portland Timbers, if a club ever came to Boise, he would want to return home. And return home he has. A pair of assists to his name to open the young season in USL League One. Here he is again. Kostashin clips it forward. A low cross this time, and Timchenko first to it.
Got numbers in the box here, Boise. If they can get some sort of cross in there from Charlie Adams or whoever he throws it to, look at the numbers in the box. 1-2. There's 2 on the edge of the box. There's 1 at the far post there in Kostashin. So opportunities here for the home side.
Ticking closer and closer to intermission. It is a full party in Boise, Idaho. Trying to compound it across, just beyond Kostashin's reach. And if he gets there, it may be all signed, sealed, and delivered.
That was so close. He puts his hands up and says, thank you for the pass, because it really was top class. And for a second, I thought Kostashin was going to make it. And literally was just 1 step off making contact with that ball at the far post.
McGlynn. Evans. He's a player who has yet to make his mark on this, but has grown into quite the star for Westchester the last 3 weeks or so. Was the #1 player George Jokai singled out in terms of budding stars in the league in preseason, and started to live up to that expectation. Tonight, though, it's been a tougher go of it. It's well done from McGlynn, who's in dispossessed. McGlynn overzealous in his attempts to win it back. Fans can't watch the match? Turn on Sirius XM FC 157, North America's only 24/7 source for engaging soccer talk, including USL All Access on Tuesday nights. Plus your live matches from the USL, MLS, Premier League, and more, all on Sirius XM FC 157 and the new Sirius XM app.
See Conor McGlynn there, not happy. He was having a lot of words with the referee, then walked up to him and had a further conversation, was shaking his head going, no, no, no. So, frustrating time for the captain of Westchester.
He hasn't really been able to insert himself in this match as much as he would have hoped, I'm sure.
I think that's true for the whole Westchester team. They really have struggled, and maybe credit to Boise, but I think a lot of it has to do with that midweek NYCFC match, because that has got to take a lot out of you when you're playing an MLS side, and then traveling to come to Boise. At the end of the day, we're all human, and you can feel that sort of lack of energy sometimes when you go and play, and that just seems to be the case with Westchester at the moment. Perhaps they can still play their way into the match. Time will tell.
We've hit 40 minutes. Boise still assertive. And to your point as well, they spent the majority of that match defending Westchester, so they were chasing the game for large spells. So that, coupled with the short week and the travel, can't fault them for having some tired legs.
And you can have tired minds as well. Whenever you get up for a big cup match, you know, there's a lot of anticipation, a lot of excitement, family coming to watch the match, friends, tickets, a whole thing that goes with it, and being, you know, having a bigger TV audience, etc. It's a bit of a come down afterwards to go, okay, now back to league action. And again, we're all human. We all find it difficult to get up for it. Whereas Boise have been looking forward to this match all week. They've been able to focus on it, and man, are they playing well.
Here's Mayaka, who wins it back upfield. Philip Mayaka from Moshaban. A last-ditch challenge from Jimenez does the job.
Shaban, I don't know if you have time to take control in the box. Maybe it's a first-time hit or a quick touch and a hit. It just takes too long. Evans
plays it wide to Makic, and Westchester the other way. Makic switches the play for Guzin. To the edge of the area for Alexi Armas. Rising and did not dip in time.
Yeah, a little bit over the crossbar, as the crowd are telling him at the moment, with various boos and cheers and everything else. It was worth a shot. Just to get over it a little bit and try and test Jonathan Cleaver. When you think about it, Cleaver's been brought in. You know, you'd want to, as you're the opposition, you want to test him and say, okay, well, you know, this is your first game this season. Let's just see whether you're up to it. Let's just test you. But so far, he hasn't had much to do.
His professional debut after years in the college ranks. Began his career at Detroit Mercy, a former Horizon League goalkeeper of the year there, before a more inconsistent conclusion to his college life at Missouri State, which is one of the top mid-major programs in the country. Through 40 minutes and change, they have yet to truly trouble him. Dickerson. Guzin. looking to switch the play. Didn't come off as cleanly as they would have hoped. Evans. Guzin. Evans continuing his run and has split the defense here. Burko back to Evans. Effort deflected to Guzin. Always rising.
Lots of shouting going on from the Westchester players. I don't know if that's between each of them, but opportunities. Guzin there. That's from Carl Evans. That gets blocked. He's claiming a handball, but not really. And Dean Guzin there just sticks it over the crossbar again. That's the second shot they've had in a row where they've put it over the crossbar. Got to test the keeper, which means you've got to get over the ball and keep it down. And he's that good a player. I'm surprised that Dean Guzin sticks the one over the bar. 4 goals in 5 matches. That's quality. So just not working for Westchester yet. Just, but, you know, as long as they keep it at 2-0 and doesn't get worse, they can always work their way back into this game.
Jimenez is tugged down and wins a free kick. Final minute of the initial 45. Westchester looking for a lifeline before the break. Makic. Dickerson. Armas, first time ball and not on the same wavelength as Dean Guzin. Just 2 minutes of stoppage time.
Ladies and gentlemen, stoppage time is
presented by Diamond Heating and Cooling.
Fourth officials indicated there will be a minimum of 2 minutes of added time in the first half.
Well, fans, Select is proud to be the official match ball supplier of the USL Championship. From the grassroots to the pros, Select is there every step of the way. Visit us.select-sport.com for the latest Select product specials and more. Select, the player's choice. Ricketts. That's a clever flick from Kostashin. Moshaban was looking for Among and just over his head. McGlynn sprays it the other way to Burko. Guzin. Wanted the run of Evans. Guzin again. This time goes the aerial route. Ultimately comes to nothing. There are signs of life, though, from the visitors.
Yes. They're just sort of coming back into this game last 5 to 10 minutes. Dean Guzin getting on the ball quite a bit. And Daniel Burko. But when they've had the shots, they've stuck them over the crossbar. So the final quality isn't there. But they certainly have worked their way back into this game. And I'm pretty sure that's going to be the halftime chat from George Chakai. Is ignore the first 35 minutes because it just didn't work our way. But last 10 minutes, we look lively, we look threatening. Let's take that out and do the same in the second half.
It is a side that has shown an ability to respond, even against one Knoxville in their opening defeat. As you see Hammersley daringly stroll off his line. They were down 3-1 at half, and they came out in the second half and were better. Did find a late consolation. George Jokai described the halftime talk as more of an aha moment where they tweaked things tactically, got Kyle Evans on the ball more, and had more success. We'll see if they have a similar experience after this break. It's halftime here at the Expo. A pair of goals separated by 5 seconds make the difference for Boise.
The score is AC Boise 2, Westchester Soccer Club 0.
Well, it's all dominant from Boise through 45 minutes. The question is if they can keep things going. A pair of goals from Moshaban and Kostashin separate the two sides. Westchester still trying to find its footing. At halftime, presented by St. Alphonsus, Boise in charge. Stick with us when we return. A look back at the opening 45 minutes.
From the beginning, Idaho has been home. Since 1968, we've stayed true to what matters most. Hard work, local ranching, and exceptional beef. As pioneers of American Wagyu, we're involved every step of the way, from ranch to table. Unforgettable beef, done right, by people who care. Snake River Farms, proud supporters of Athletic Club Boise.
Sunny days call for Sun Cruiser Vodka Iced Tea. Made with real iced tea and real vodka. Refreshing and goes down smooth. Let the good times cruise with Sun Cruiser.
You want more than care. You want a partner who hears you. Bring it. At St. Alphonsus, we listen to your story, your concerns, what makes you, you. We connect the dots. Catch what matters early. Not just today, but for the long haul. Checkups are just the start. We're here for every chapter. So, bring it.
Every business has a story. Maybe you're just getting started. Maybe you're expanding. Maybe you're ready for a fresh start with a bank that truly cares about your business. We're Banner Bank, and we want your business to succeed, to stay competitive, to get to the next level. And we have a long history of helping businesses just like yours. Banner Bank. Better ideas, better banking.
Sunny days call for Sun Cruiser Vodka Iced Tea. Made with real iced tea and real vodka. Refreshing and goes down smooth. Let the good times cruise with Sun Cruiser.
We welcome you back to Boise, where at halftime our scoreline reads AC Boise 2, Westchester 0 on the halftime show presented by St. Alphonsus. Sim Goldfarb, Gary Bailey on hand. AC Boise playing their second ever home match at the Expo in Idaho. And the first was a thriller against Spokane Velocity, a back and forth affair in which a 1-1 draw was the ultimate result. And how about this atmosphere, Gary?
Absolutely brilliant. I mean, I've loved the vibe so far in this game. The opening game must have been incredible as well. And the players have lived up to it.
It was an early breakthrough for Joe Gallardo in Spokane Velocity. That was on 21 minutes, but then a penalty for Boise after the restart. The initial effort from Brito saved, but Nick Moon providing the magical moment, the first ever AC Boise goal to salvage a point in the home opener. But they're hunting all three in this one. In terms of our team of the week, Gary, Dean Guzin, the standout, the player of the week after his brace against Sarasota last week.
Yeah, 2 goals there, and they weren't the greatest of goals, but you have to be in the right place at the right time, and that's why he's in the team. He was the poacher. He picked up on some great passes there, finished them off, 2-0 win. Great to see him there.
He's the only representative for either team in the initial 11. In terms of our look around match week 6, let's get a look at our goal of the week, save of the week, and our USL All Access moment.
On the other side of things, there is no substitute for a competitive match. This is an excellent opportunity for the visitors early on, and they scored inside the first minute.
Fort Wayne FC's fastest goal in club history started by a hunger for the ball. 3 players in the vicinity, and Tague Healy, the one that takes it away. A finish from outside the box. He strikes it into the bottom corner. 44 seconds in, Fort Wayne up in Chattanooga, and that is your select USL League One goal of the week.
Sarasota the other direction. Sensi again. He has to step on Powder. Cuts it back brilliantly, and it's saved by Hammersley.
Wow, that is a good save from Hammersley. That is great reflexes.
This week on USL All Access, more interviews, less of us. The Detroit midfielder Maxi Rodriguez.
Looking for that back post again. Rodriguez scores! That's the way to start it for Detroit City at home.
The El Paso manager Junior Gonzalez. And plenty of talk about the Open Cup and those unbeaten and those recently beaten in the league. You'll see it SiriusXM FC or the USL YouTube page every Tuesday night.
Today, we accomplished nothing. I mean it. Not thing. And it was kinda everything.
This spring, stay 3 nights and get a $50 Best Western gift card.
This one slipped through nicely for Williams! Shining once again for Hartford. Quizera settles. Dodea Quizera!
Today, we accomplished nothing. I mean it, not a thing. And it was kinda everything.
This spring, stay 3 nights and get a $50 Best Western gift card.
In 1977, Ford F-Series became America's best-selling trucks. 33 million trucks later, we've kept that title every year since. And that's a formula we plan on repeating. F-Series, America's best-selling trucks for 49 years and counting. And Ford, the most awarded brand for initial quality among trucks by J.D. Power. Ford F-Series, built Ford tough.
We welcome you back to Boise, where at halftime, AC Boise in control of Westchester in their second ever home match. It's been a strong display in the first half. We'll see if they can keep it going through the remainder of the fixture. In terms of USL League One, let's look around the league and take a look at our scores from the weekend. A pair of 2-1 victories earlier tonight. Richmond Kickers triumphing over Union Omaha. Meanwhile, 1 Knox defeating Charlotte Independence in 2-1 fashion. And then tomorrow, a pair of matches. New York Cosmos hosting Forward Madison at 12 Mountain Time, and then Portland Hearts of Pine, their next home match, the second of the year, against FC Naples. That should be a fun one as well. Let's continue our halftime update by checking in with Dan Lucas.
It is halftime in League One. Time for the headlines around the league. We hope you're enjoying your match so far. I'm Dan Lucas inside the USL studio. How about that major cup set in the third round of the US Open Cup? One Knoxville played to a 3-3 draw against DC United, then grabbed the win in penalty kicks. One Knox will face Columbus Crew in the round of 16. Championship clubs Louisville City and Colorado Springs also advanced with upset victories in round 3. Another first-year club picked up its first ever victory in week 6. Tig Healy scored just 44 seconds into Fort Wayne's match against Chattanooga Red Wolves. That's all the visitors needed in a 1-0 victory. 4 of the 5 League One expansion teams now have a win this season. USL's young core players continue to shine in the spotlight. Today we look at Vigo Ortiz of Charlotte Independence. Ortiz has scored twice in Charlotte's 3 League One matches. He also scored a goal in the US Open Cup last month. Ortiz played the entire 90 minutes in Charlotte's match against the Cosmos. The USL Championship has a pair of upcoming national broadcasts. Next Saturday, it's El Clamico in the Prinks Tires USL Cup, Hartford Athletic and Rhode Island. Then on Saturday, May 2nd, Detroit City hosts Louisville City. Both matches are on CBS Sports Network. Those are your League One headlines. We're getting closer to the second half. Let's get you back out to your match.
From the beginning, Idaho has been home. Since 1968, we've stayed true to what matters most: hard work, local ranching, and exceptional beef. As pioneers of American Wagyu, we're involved every step of the way, from ranch to table. Unforgettable beef, done right, by people who care. Snake River Farms, proud supporters of Athletic Club Boise.
Every day, you give it all you've got, because every day demands it. Chasing, climbing, committing, until something takes you down. At St. Alphonsus, our sports medicine team gets you back up with sharp minds and steady hands, helping everyday athletes like you take on tomorrow. So when you demand greatness, bring it.
In 1977, Ford F-Series became America's best-selling trucks. 33 million trucks later, we've kept that title every year since. And that's a formula we plan on repeating. F-Series, America's best-selling trucks for 49 years and counting. And Ford, the most awarded brand for initial quality among trucks by J.D. Power. Ford F-Series, built Ford tough.
KTVB Plus, streaming live local radar 24/7. Watch as the storm rolls in and check the forecast whenever you want. Stream now and watch for free. Live radar 24/7, only on KTVB Plus.
The USL on CBS is presented by Best Western Hotels and Resorts, the official hotel partner of the United Soccer League. We welcome you back to the Treasure Valley. We're at halftime in this clash between AC Boise and Westchester SC, the home side with a 2-0 edge after a dominant first half. And Gary, they got off to a flyer inside the opening 25 minutes.
Yeah, went into a 1-0 lead. Jake Krull wins this header, the ball drops to Tumi Moshabani and just pokes it over the line from a couple of yards out. It was early pressure from the home side and they got their breakthrough.
First half highlights presented by Banner Bank, and then they would double the lead 5 minutes later. Dennis Kostishin with a terrific finish.
And it's Nick Moon who builds this up. He's on the ball here, he waits, he times it perfectly. He comes to Kostishin, he waits, and then he just leaves it very late, but because of that he can tuck it into the far corner. Goalkeeper can't stop it. The angle was perfect for the strike for the 2-0 lead.
It was Boise cruising from there. There were moments for Westchester later on in the first half, but Boise, those 2 points of difference separate the two sides. Gives us a chance. Action in this first ever clash between AC Boise and Westchester SC. Boise hunting their first victory on their newly minted home ground that was built up over the last 2 years on the site of La Boise Racing Park, the former Boise Fairgrounds that used to host horse racing for years. Defunct for about a decade, but built back up into a soccer-specific stadium. And look at the success it's had of drawing all of these fans to USL League One football.
That's a wonderful vibe. Absolutely brilliant. I'm loving every minute over here. I'm not so sure Westchester have loved every minute of that first half, because besides the good play from Boise, the crowd's been at them. It has been a hostile environment, but now they've had 45 minutes of it. There's, if they can get that one goal back, they're right in this match, Westchester. So I think if you're Nate Miller of Boise, you probably told the players, hey, let's just get a third. Let's kill this game off, because if we don't, this Westchester team are good enough to get back in this match.
If you looked at him, you wouldn't think his side is up 2-0. He's continuing to push on and urge his team forward and having a spirited debate with the fourth official.
Number 3, Charlie Dickerson.
2 changes coming now for Westchester. It is Bauman and Noah Powder who have entered the fray at halftime as Westchester SC looks for an avenue back into this. Erman Makic and Charlie Dickerson are the 2 that vacate. So we'll see how that changes things As for now, we are back underway here in Boise, Idaho. Boise looking to see this out and surge into the top 8. Westchester hoping for a miraculous comeback. It's a pair of substitutions that are presented by Sun Cruiser. Sam Goldfarb alongside the former Manchester United goalkeeper Gary Bailey. Dominant first half from AC Boise. We showed you the pair of goals in 5 minutes, but to your point, they might want to come out here and settle it before things get nervy.
Yeah, last thing you want is Westchester come back in the match, and then you've got a battle on your hands, and you know they're a good side. Of course, Westchester want to do exactly the opposite. They want to get the goal. They want to get back into it. But if you're Boise, in front of this wonderful crowd, you get a third, then possibly you can start to relax a bit.
It was a strong spell to close the first half from Westchester, but little of note troubling Jonathan Cleaver, the professional debutant here tonight, has not been forced into a save or hardly touched the ball for that matter. Mayaka will usher it back to Cleaver. And there is a touch of the ball for the goalkeeper. Asking you shall receive, I guess.
Just thinking of George Shakai there, 2 changes at half-time. It's quite a statement. Not that the players he took off had played badly. I don't think anybody had a great first half for Westchester as such, but for Charlie Dickerson amongst one of those taken off, but you made 2 changes. What you're doing is making a statement to the rest of the team. No, it's not good enough. Making changes. Let's see if those changes can bring some energy to this team and revitalize them. And as I say, 1 goal, and they are right back in this match.
Evans is chasing after this, and he keeps it in play. Squaring up with Jake Kroll and bypassing him. Evans across the face. Armas tracks it down. And it's an errant ball towards Guzin. Oddly enough, Westchester a year ago, they did have moments of success coming back and overcoming deficits, although not of this type of margin. Jimenez, that's well done, and continues to dart forward. McGlynn. Evans. Here's Kyle Evans again. Jimenez bundled over, and it is a free kick in an appetizing position for Westchester.
I wonder with the changes whether we'll see Jonathan Jimenez pushing forward in a more attacking position. As you mentioned at the start of the game, he'd played as an attacker in previous matches, trying to fill in at right back, but maybe not his preferred position, or maybe where he's not at his most dangerous. Pushing forward, though, could be a different story for the Mexican.
2 in the vicinity now. Dean Guzin and Alexi Armas. Can they conjure from this? It's taken short. Guzin ushers it. McGlynn's effort cleared away rather comfortably.
We have seen McGlynn score some golazos from 25, 30 yards out. They were hoping he would do it again there. He scored one against Corpus Christi. Wow, what a strike that was.
Here's Evans. Guzin laying it off. McGlynn's effort blocked. Now clipped back into the mix from Burko. Got a play for Westchester's first corner of the night. McGlynn did score worldly against Corpus Christi.
He did, didn't he? What a strike that was. A little bit of pressure coming here at the start of this match. A totally different looking and feeling Westchester's side, and a bit of an injury now, and to slow the game down. Maybe give Boise a chance to think of how they need to approach this, but definitely Westchester much more on the front foot.
There's a player down in the area for Boise. It's a team that boasts the deeper bench this evening. And it appears they may use it. It's Musa Enya, who is getting set to enter. Someone who's a listed center back, but has opened this season as more of a defensive midfielder, and Blake Bodley is gingerly back to his feet now. Hometown kid who's made such an impact on the young season for AC Boise. And he may be one of the two to depart. It is a double change for Boise here. Keegan Euler and Musa Enya are the two that appear set to enter.
Step aside now.
Bodily for the moment is towing the touchline. Let's see what these changes are. So Nick Moon will exit. It is Euler who replaces him. And Blake Bodily is the other to depart for Enya. So both wingbacks swapped here shortly after halftime. Musa Enya was a second-team All-American with VCU this past fall. Meanwhile, Euler making just his third appearance for Boise as a substitute. Evans, cross into the mix. Throw for Westchester. The subs presented by Sun Cruiser. Long throw from Marmas. Flicked along by Burko. And away from Mamang, who's doing his defensive duties.
The call against Thomas Among.
Ladies and gentlemen, coming in
Just
for AC
surprised
Boise.
by the changes to come 5 minutes after halftime. Blake Bodily perhaps because he took a knock and an injury, but Nick Moon, if they're not fit to play, you would think you'd change them at halftime, unless they were carrying. Maybe Nick Moon felt he could play, and then as soon as he got out second half, realized that whatever the problem was bothering him, he couldn't last. But to make changes within 5 minutes surely has to be through injury.
Well, a yellow card was just shown to Nate Miller as Jimenez's cross deflected back to Cleaver. It is definitely an interesting change because Enya has solely featured as a 6 or a proper center back, so he's now being asked to play more of a wing-back role. And Euler, to date, had only played 29 minutes of the season entering today, so both called on for a big moment here as Boise looks to see this out. Euler is a native of Idaho, grew up 17 minutes from downtown Boise. Evans spins past one and runs into a thicket of black kids. Mushaban. Now squirted wide. First time ball into the path of Kostashin. Has options in the box. Kostashin goes for goal, and what a strike it is! It is a world-class finish from a player who has set the world alight in Boise.
Golazo, golazo, golazo. That's all you can say. Right in the top corner. What a finish. Poor Westchester came out and looked so positive. This was a lovely build-up through the middle, through Moshabani in the center, but he just cuts inside here and gives the goalkeeper no chances. It goes in that far corner past Andrew Hammersley, and it was built up right from the one end of the pitch to the other. Here you can see it almost from a goalkeeper's perspective. Nothing you can do about that. That's going over the keeper down into the top corner. Unbelievable strike from Kostashin, and he is now a joint top goal scorer in League One with 4 goals.
Dennis Kostashin take a bow. A brace on opposite ends of halftime, and he's capped it with a goal of the week contender. A Restore Hyper Wellness goal to make it 3-0 to AC Boise, and it is cruise control now. And here is Kostashin again. Well, fans, you win. ACB scored 3 or more goals tonight. All fans receive a $25 gift card certificate to Restore Hyper Wellness. Everyone in the building is winning right now from a Boise perspective.
Yes, from a Boise perspective, there's a few players and staff of Westchester who are not happy. They did come out nice and positive. And they made the changes, but now they have a mountain to climb. Look at those black shirts behind the ball.
Jimenez venturing into the area, just when too many defenders in the midst.
That's basically what Boise are going to do, is just get numbers behind the ball here and try and work on the counter-attack. Again, the way they built it up from one end to the other was very clever. They got the ball out, they got it to Mushabani, he played it back, then the next thing was played wide out to Dennis Kostashin. He makes that run and cuts in and scores the golazo. So, all in all, excellent soccer here from the home side.
Bauman. Amongst goals in League One over the course of the opening month of the season, that certainly has to rank toward the top, although Connor McGlynn would not like his strike to be forgotten. This is Guzin, and now laid off for McGlynn, who will go at it again, and this time drills it right into the thicket of defenders. Evans down in the area. He's trying to play a dummy, but had no teammate in the vicinity.
Well, if this result holds, which you have to say at 3-0, there's probably a fairly good chance it will in terms of a victory. Boise go above Westchester, have a game in hand, and if, as we see the goalkeeper, Jonathan Cleaver, if he can keep things solid at the back and they don't give away cheap goals, as has happened in a couple of previous games, then you have to start looking at Boise as a side that, hey, this isn't just a team coming in and settling in. This is a team that could go all the way in this championship.
They entered the season with major preseason expectations, just given the personnel they brought in. But a year ago with Westchester, we were having that same discussion,
Yes.
and obviously things didn't quite pan out the same way. And when we talked to Nate Miller, he mentioned to us that, yes, a result like a draw on the road at AV Alta on paper is good. You go away from home to California, and you come away with it with a point. But at the end of the day, he said, we aren't complacent. We aren't happy with winning only one of our first 4 matches. This is a side with much higher aspirations than that. And you're starting to see the byproduct of that on the pitch.
Especially when you get this many good players together. They know they're good. They know they should be up near the top. And it's just a matter of it all gelling, which has happened very quickly for Nate Miller. Sometimes as an expansion side, it can take a long, long time for it all to gel. But already you're looking at Boise thinking, wow, this is a team that really has every chance of finishing top 4.
Right now they would go to 5th in the table, as you mentioned, with match in hand on many of their counterparts. Still have to see this out, but they're in the catbird seat by a country mile.
I think there's a few coaches who will watch the action from this match when they get time, as coaches always do, or the coaching staff. They'll look at other opposition. They'll look at the vibe at this stadium and know that when they come here, it's going to be a tough game with this wonderful crowd behind Boise.
Guzin, McGlynn into the box. Marco contesting it. Cleared away by Adams. Timchenko slips. It falls kindly for Jimenez. Timchenko is still down. Pinned down awkwardly on what appears to be his left leg.
I think he's even saying that maybe Thomas Among kicked him in the process here. He's a tough guy. I don't think it'll be too long before he's up on his feet.
Showing the ref the evidence, it seems. When has that ever worked? Showing a bruise as a way to get a card on a player?
I think as players, you just try and put as much pressure on the referee as you can. You know, they were complaining in the bench about Thomas Among not getting any decisions. There's a yellow card for Nate Miller, and the next thing that happens, Thomas Among gets a free kick. So, you know, it's what you do with the referees. Know you're doing it. They try and avoid it, but they're also human, and he'll feel that that's a knock for Timchenko, and maybe might be tempted to give something Timchenko's way next time around. So
the psychology within the game.
Absolutely.
Were you a master of that back in the day?
As a goalkeeper, you don't get much involved in the game. I have tried being a referee and had it worked on me, and it's not a pleasant experience. I really do feel sorry for referees.
Well, Guzin wanted a free kick there and immediately waved away. But it's given away cheaply, and Burko has a hit, always rising and into the Boise night sky.
For Westchester, that's the third shot they've had on the edge of the box, and the third one that's gone straight over the crossbar. So quality just not happening for Westchester today.
Well, fans, soccer season is here, and SeatGeek is the official ticketing partner of the USL. Get all your USL tickets and more from the #1 ticketing site. SeatGeek, your ticket to great seats. An hour gone, and 3-0 in favor of AC Boise. Dennis Kostishin, the headliner, with a brace. And tonight's attendance is just 7 people off of the record that AC Boise set in League One 2 weeks ago. So they didn't quite break the League One attendance record, but they came awfully close to their own measuring stick. Bauman.
Looking at the scoreline and thinking back to Westchester's only other away match, which was against Greenville Triumph, a 4-2 loss. There's 3 goals here, 4 goals in that match in the 2 away games. Last season, well, the whole season was a tough one, but again, they struggled away from home. Maybe something that Coach George Chakai will work on is the mentality away from home, the toughness, the taking the opportunities, giving away as little as possible. Always more difficult on the road, but when you have 2 results, and one of them you concede 4, the next one you concede 3, you start to think, okay, we need to change our attitude when we're on the road. We need to be tougher.
And it has been a similar tale to that Greenville match, because they went 4-0 down before scoring twice in that fixture against the Triumph. So in this, 3-0 down and not showing much bite the other direction, maybe something that the Westchester coaching staff looks to address. Of course, back at home next week in the Prince Tires USL Cup against Portland Hearts of Pine, but then 3 of their next 4 away from home. They've had a heavy concentration of home fixtures to open the year.
And if you don't get it right on the road and you have a whole bunch of those games coming up, you can find yourself slipping down the league table very quickly. And again, with a coach as good as George Chakai, he'll want to turn that around for that next away match.
Changes across the board being readied. We'll have those for you in a matter of moments. Jimenez. Bauman. Jimenez again. Forward for Guzin. He commits a foul in the penalty area, and the chance is lost. We are hearing word that Luan Brito and Dominic Gasso are the 2 that will enter for Boise. Thomas Among, the first to vacate, a like-for-like change up top. And then Charlie Adams also exiting for Gasso in the heart of midfield. Both those substitutions presented by Sun Cruiser, as is this one. Daniel Burko out, Kuhn Blumstein is in up top. So a trio of like-for-like swaps, so to speak. And a pair of changes opposite ways up top. Get your look at Dominic Gasso, who's making just his 5th substitute appearance. He has not started, but has featured in every match. Spent the first 4 years of his career under contract with his boyhood club, Detroit City, as a sporadic feature in the championship. While Luan Brito, who was a question mark fitness-wise, will play the final 25 minutes and change. Evans.
Ladies and gentlemen, coming
McGlynn.
in for Westchester, number 9.
Noah Powder.
Kuhn Blumenstein.
Who's in a heavy touch. It's taken away by Kostishin, who currently sits on a hat trick. And here he is again. Armas. Weaving past defenders. Perhaps something on for Westchester. Evans into the area. An early cross towards Blumstein. The ball never reaches him. Timchenko. Evans drifting further and further wide to get on the ball in space.
You can see good low block defending from Boise. Everyone in that final third. Just really Moshaban, number 11 there, just hovering to see if he can steal the ball, but everybody else behind the ball, blocking the space. It makes it very difficult to play through. Time and time again, coaches will tell you when teams drop into a low block, you just have to try and get the ball wide, get crosses in, but extremely difficult.
Jimenez. Guzin has some space now. Gets his pass Mayaka. And right at the goalkeeper, Cleaver.
I think Cleaver has got a very good chance of being in the lineup for the next match. So far, clean sheet, done everything that he's had to do. Hasn't taken any rest, knocked a lot of long balls, get balls in the opposition half and then try and pick up the loose ball. And he's done a decent job, and I don't see any reason why Nate Miller will not have him down as his goalkeeper in the next match.
His story is remarkable because he joined on a preseason trial as the third string goalkeeper. Within 2 weeks was the number 2 over Javier Garcia, who, if you don't know much about him, he was set the penalty saves record in a single season in USL League One a year ago with Texoma. So he jumps him and then gets the opportunity with Joseph Ndema's performances wavering, and to your point, has not put a foot wrong on his debut. It's a Trivella ball forward. Moshaban driving ahead for Boise. Just dispossessed by Powder. Now clipped into the mixer again. Brito can't control it.
By the way, Noah Powder trying to dribble out the back there, loses possession. Boise nearly score a fourth. Not the best of defending by Noah Powder.
Has been a shaky display at the back all night from Westchester. Boise has picked them apart with surgical precision.
Absolutely, that last goal from Kostashin. You can call it surgical, you can call it golazo. No, nobody is stopping that.
You can call it pick it out of the back of the net. And you hear the party-like atmosphere in the background. It's been full volume from the get-go, and they've had plenty to celebrate as they stroll toward their first ever home victory. This is one back, and now knocked wide. Ricketts running ahead with Moshaban, and he picks out Tumi Moshaban, who cuts it back. Man down in the area. Referee waves play on. It's still loose for Euler and tapped in by Luan Brito. Signed, sealed, and delivered. It's a thrashing here in Boise.
Quick reactions there from Luan Brito, but it was the work done before there, getting the ball in the box, the fighting for it. Such fantastic play from Boise, and the crowd are pumped up. And great for Luan Brito that he can come on and get a goal like this. But look at the pressure. Moshaban does so well here, tries to cut it back. There's an appeal for penalty, but gets straight back up. There's another effort, and after all of that, then, and only then at the very end, does Brito get the chance to finish this off. But it's one player after another for Boise fighting to try and get the opportunity. And there, just the ball knocked in by Keegan Euler. And Brito says, thank you very much. That's in the back of the net.
It is a classic poacher's finish. Luan Brito bagging his second goal in league play for AC Boise. His first goal from open play for his new club, a product of the youth ranks at Fluminense, who couldn't quite break in to the normal first team with the Brazilian Giants, but has played across South American football, and now in his first taste of USL League One, adding a second tally to his ledger on the season. Brian Vasquez is in, as is Samori Powder. Both those substitutions presented by Sun Cruiser as Armas and Guzin vacate. And that goal is presented by Restore Hyper Wellness. And how about this from Boise? Only 6 goals through their first 4 matches entering the night. They banged in 4 and hunting for more as Brito just loses out there.
And looking back at their other matches and knowing that, as the coach Nate Miller says, 5 points were made by errors, goalkeeping errors. You wonder where this team would have been if those errors weren't made, and if they cut them out, where they will be. And I think this crowd are going to be treated to a wonderful season because there's just too many top-class players, including Kostashin, who this is a level there where he is going to be one of the best players in the league, but surrounded by Moshaban and all the others who've played at USL and higher. It's a fantastic team that certainly looks a fantastic team that Nate Miller's put together. They're playing like a fantastic team, and wow, this crowd could be treated to a really exciting season.
It is hard to believe that they hadn't won a match in the previous 3 games entering today. Had to battle back to earn a point against the reigning runners-up in Spokane a couple weeks ago, and a slightly disappointing result in California last week. But it's been a moment of catharsis this weekend where they banged in 4 goals with little resistance and completely obliterated their opposition. Opposition, might I add, that entered the night 5th in the USL League One table and has enjoyed a bounce-back campaign through the early portions of 2026. Evans. Flips it forward to Samori Powder. And loses out. Perhaps a chance to break the other direction. Laurent Brito off to the races. Bobby Pierre navigates that trouble well.
I mean, it's possible they could have won virtually every match they've played, Boise, but for certain errors. They won the first against Sarasota Paradise. Lost 3-2 at Union Omaha, but there was a goalkeeping error in that match. Quite a bad one. Cross just dropped by Ndema, hits his own player and goes in. They could have won at Union Omaha. Another error in the 1-1 draw at home to Spokane Velocity. That could have been 1-0. And at AV Alta, they had better XG, they had greater touches in the box, and they were 2-1 up, and only a goal 10 minutes from time stopped them there. So, as you say, it could have been a straight 4 wins, and it wouldn't surprise me if they do go on to put a bunch of wins together, because this looks like it's a real quality side. They know it, and they're playing like it.
Playing with a different degree of swagger tonight as Vasquez plays this into the area. Keep in mind, we spoke to Nate Miller, and he mentioned how, well, he raves about Cleaver's potential. He feels Joseph Ndema can still contribute massively to this side. Someone who is good with his feet, played 4 years of high-level college soccer at Clemson and was a national champion there. So there is optimism about his trajectory going forward. But they needed to make a change just to change the dynamic a little bit ahead of this weekend, and it has paid dividends. We'll see what the decision-making is like going forward in terms of the goalkeeping position.
Yeah, it's a very unique position. It comes with a whole bunch of psychology with it, goalkeeping. And if you make errors, your defenders start to lose faith in you. You have to change the keeper. But as to your point, you can still come back later in the season. But when you're in the middle of an error-strewn spell, the coach has got to get you out, let somebody come back in, and then maybe bring you in later.
This is floated forward to Samori Powder, who ripples the outside of the side netting.
There's the first question mark. Jonathan Cleaver there, wasn't quite sure if it was his ball or the fullback's ball, and between them they did nothing. A little half chance for Westchester.
It is a corner kick. And Brian Vasquez will take it. We'll see what Westchester can conjure here. The result is pretty much out of question now, but can they end the clean sheet? It's an outswinging ball. It falls for Noah Powder. Now arcs it in towards Bobby Pierre, and Cleaver wins that battle. And now it's all kicking off. Krumstein shoved down.
think Blumstein did something before that got the shove, and I think there'll be a few yellow cards, at least yellow cards being shown here. Now, if you're Boise, you walk away. You're 4-0 up. You know Westchester's pride is hurting. You don't need to get involved too much when you decide winning. You just got to walk away. Easier said than done, of course. And have a look. The goalkeeper gets hit first. That's a foul. He gets it, he gets hit. Now have a look. Blumstein there just turns and shoves. But he was also being held a little bit, so perhaps a little bit of overreaction from Jake Dengler. Dengler, sorry. But for me, immediately, it's a foul on the goalkeeper. Goalkeeper takes it. Good hands from the big man at the back there, Jonathan Cleaver. Whistle goes, that should be it.
Yellow card shown to Koen Blumstein, the reserve forward. And that yellow card is presented by Diamond Heating and Cooling. Fans, eFootball is here. Live your dream, rep your team, and play as your favorite USL Championship club. eFootball is free to play. Download now.
A little bit surprised Jake Dengler didn't get a yellow there, because he just turned around and shoved Blumstein to the ground. You can't lay hands on people.
Moshe. Boise pushing for more. Ricketts crossing it towards Brito. And finally the whistle goes. They did show a yellow card to Jake Dengler.
That would make sense, absolutely. When you put your hands on someone and shove him over, that's it's tending towards a red card. You've got to be careful, so at least a yellow. It's getting a bit chippy now, isn't it? Westchester annoyed, fed up. Professional pride is hurt.
They have been on the wrong end of a Boise buzzsaw that's been revving up for 3 weeks' time, and they've been the unfortunate recipient of that.
I think the thing, if you're Boise, because you're so far ahead, what you generally have to do is bring the temperature down. And you see that done a lot in Europe when teams are ahead and it starts to get chippy. They help players up, they calm it down, you don't do anything to antagonize the opposition because you're 4-0 up. You don't need to. You're cruising. It's happy days. So let's just see if Boise can do that. Just take the sting out of this game.
Well, there is a change, and Boise is making it. It is Hayden Sargis who enters for Tumi Moshe. That a defensive-minded alteration as AC Boise looks to see this out. That substitution presented by Sun Cruiser.
Ladies and gentlemen, coming into the match for AC Boise, number 33, Hayden Sargis.
Sargis, someone with MLS experience, spent 3 years under contract with DC United. Featured 3 times in that window. Blumstein charging ahead for Westchester now. And ultimately, too much hand fighting for our referee's liking, and he may have hit the ball with his hand as well. It has been Boise domination, and you see Dennis Kostishin is the primary headliner, but all in all, from the 16th minute on, they've been in full control.
Oh, absolutely, no question about it. But Kostishin's 2 goals, the first one where got to a tight angle and on the ground just tucked it into the far corner, and the second one was golazo. And he has been the star of the show for me tonight. Absolutely brilliant.
And now level atop the league in goals. Mayaka. Kroll.
Your job now is, Boise, 10 minutes just to be professional, shut the game down, move the ball around. You know that Westchester are hunting and they're looking for tackles and they want to get stuck in, and you've got to do the opposite. Just keep the ball and try and knock it around, and as we said before, take the temperature out the game. Bring it down and simplify it. Don't do anything to wind Westchester up, because you might get someone sent off, but you might get sent off in the process. Then you miss the next game. You don't need that when you're 4-0 up. So let's see how the home side do in the next 10 minutes.
And when you look ahead for Boise, many important fixtures on the horizon. Their Brinks Cup opener at Las Vegas Lights, a championship side next Saturday, and then a home match against Chattanooga Red Wolves on May 2nd, bouncing in and out of their home venue for the bulk of the next couple months, hosting Naples as well on May 13th. That kickstarts a decent run of fixtures closer to Boise. Let me ask you this. As someone who's probably been on the right end of a lot of results like this in your playing career, what does a result like this, when you're in a spell of needing momentum, what does that do for you?
Oh, it does wonders for the locker room. I mean, as a professional, you're paid to win. So a win like this, a crowd that's fantastic, that have enjoyed the win, all of that just adds to a fantastic locker room, a great vibe. And you go off to the next match feeling full of confidence and belief. I mean, 4-0 is a solid whack against a good side in Westchester. So, yeah, it is wonderful for Boise. But there's more going on here, I think, because looking at their other matches, it's only errors that cost them. They get rid of those errors. This team, with the quality they have, will start to see themselves as potential champions. And that's where Nate Miller can take this team over the next few months. And I'll certainly look forward to seeing if they can live up to that, because, well, they've got about virtually almost a USL League, not League One, but a USL Championship squad.
Powder plays this free kick in, and Bobby Pierre a few footsteps behind it. And you saw that look at the stadium as well. Jam-packed, nearly broke their own attendance record. They were 7 bodies shy of matching it from 2 weeks ago. Imagine if they're able to push on and get a couple home playoff matches in this venue.
Absolutely. You're 100% correct. And I can certainly see them finishing top 4. From the limited amount we've seen them so far, I can certainly see them finishing top 4 and playing at home. But there's a long way to go. You can start getting injuries. You can have issues with certain players. I mean, God forbid Kostashin gets injured. He is such a quality player. Yes, they do have others, but if you have a season in which most of your star players stay fit, then sky's the limit for this Boise side in their inauguration season. What a season that would be.
To be fair, we were also having this discussion with Portland Hearts of Pine a year ago, which became the darlings of the league with the amount of times they sold out Fitzpatrick Stadium. And they didn't quite navigate to a home match. They did reach the semifinals after pulling off the upset at Chattanooga in the quarters. I just wonder if, as the season wears on, that same discussion starts to be had about AC Boise. Euler. Flashing ball in. Pierre doesn't deal with it. It falls to Kostashin. Had hat trick on his mind. Hammersley denies him.
Good save from the goalkeeper. It was fairly straight at him. Well hit by Kostashin, but either side of the goalkeeper could have been very different. Ball comes in, not cleared very well, kills it. And it's straight at the goalkeeper. Because so much power, the goalkeeper's got to struggle to, deal with it. Have a look at it from this angle. Goes up and he gets himself back into position, Hammersley. Just make sure it goes over the crossbar.
We see the wry smile on his face. He had visions of his name up in lights, more so than they already are. A Schilling hard cider corner kick to the back post, just headed wide by Dangler. Fans, the USL Championship and League One are on CBS Sports and ESPN platforms all season long. Catch live matches and expert analysis every day on the CBS Sports Golazo Network and ESPN+. Go to USL Championship or USLLeague1.com for the complete USL TV listings. On the Golazo Network tonight, AC Boise has announced themselves in front of a national stage. 3 different goal scorers, 4 goals in their season best output to date in their inaugural season. Westchester has been left reeling since Tumi Moshaban opened the scoring on 16 minutes.
Excellent match from beginning to end. If they can keep the clean sheet, it just puts a bow on it as well. Just wonder if the sale of Boise shirts in this area is going to go up in the next few days. I think a lot of fans are going to start getting behind this team and want to wear the shirt and want to be involved with the excitement that we're seeing from Nate Miller's side.
And you've already seen the footballing culture develop in Boise. There are so many rumblings of a team coming for years as that cross is punched away by Cleaver. Headed along by McGlynn. But pretty much throughout the 2010s, there were constant flirtations between the city of Boise and USL about bringing a USL franchise to Boise, Idaho. There is a culture there. There's been a culture there for years. Oddly enough, Boise actually has the highest concentration of Basque individuals from outside the Basque region. So football is a heavily concentrated and socialized element of the Boise community. You see the Basque connections reflected as well in the kit and the crest as well. As that crosses over hit for Powder.
When you say Basque, the Basque area in Spain?
Correct.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Arcing cross now to Dickerson, who commits the foul. Yeah. About 10 to 16,000 individuals of Basque descent decided to live in Boise.
So interesting. And the Basque region in Spain is that they are brilliant, brilliant football area. But very unique in that to play for the Basque clubs, you have to grow up in the Basque area. You can't, they don't sign players from outside. It's a very specific type of Spanish culture up there in the Basque area. So they're hardcore. And that would make sense here, because this is a hardcore fan base they seem to have in Boise.
Inside the final 5 minutes, there is a budding soccer culture in Boise. To your point, Gary, the shirt sales might go up and the ticket prices may be harder to acquire. You know, ahead of the home opener last week, they sold out of tickets in 20 minutes.
20 minutes?
20 minutes.
Wow. Well, I wish them luck, because to have a great soccer crowd behind you and a great soccer team, that's the ultimate for any soccer lover. And it certainly seems to be that this could be the case for AC Boise.
McGlynn is upended there. I tell you what, as you look forward to the remainder of the season, those fixtures against Portland Hearts of Pine, both home and away for Boise, will be must-see television. Two of the best support bases in the league by a country mile, two of the newest darlings of the division, regardless of whether that match is at Fitzpatrick Stadium or the stadium at Expo, Idaho. We'll be in for one of the largest crowds you'll see in a USL League One match. Euler. It's a loose touch from Enya. Corralled by Blumstein. He looks wide for Jimenez. Crunching challenge there from the defender in Sargis. Kostchin still in pursuit of that hat trick, and you figure that's the only reason why he's still on the pitch at the moment.
Got a good shove there. It's a free kick, lots of boos from the crowd. I asked the question 10 minutes ago, could Boise keep this clean sheet? Can they lower the temperature in this match? Can they control it and do the professional things? And the answer seems to be yes. They have done that. And that's another sign of a good professional team.
Back to Hammersley here. You mentioned how Boise's been professional. Even since the fourth, they look the more likely to get on the score sheet again. It is remarkable what we've seen from them.
It's been the perfect performance. I mean, I'm pretty sure Nate Miller afterwards, when asked by the press, will say, I've got, you know, I can't pick fault. How do you pick fault when you score four? One of them a golazo. They keep a clean sheet. The goalkeeper that comes in has done really well. in Jonathan Cleaver. He's dealt with crosses, punches, he's come and caught them. And then you've got this performance here with a minute to go. Look at this.
Enya strolling forward. Luan Brito forced wide. Kostashin lingering as well. We inch towards 90 minutes. And it's just a question of how many minutes separate Boise from a first ever home victory in club history. The answer is just 2 minutes.
Ladies and gentlemen, stoppage time brought to you by Diamond Heating and Cooling.
Brought to you by Diamond Heating and Cooling. 2 minutes.
2 minutes of added time in the second half.
When you look ahead for AC Boise, we mentioned the road fixture against Las Vegas Lights. And then 3 of the next 4 at home in front of this jam-packed home crowd. Their opposite numbers in Westchester. They head back home for the Brinks Tires USL Cup, but then 3 of the next 4 away from home. And this is where Boise, with a match in hand on the likes of Westchester and many others, has a real chance to make up ground. Already surging into the top 5 as Tim Timchenko is dealing with a bit of an ailment here.
Yeah, it is 2 teams looking at 2 totally different situations. If you're Nate Miller and the team after this match, you're pumped. You've got all these home matches coming up, a great crowd. You're thinking, wow, we could be near the top of the table if we keep this going. For Westchester, George Chakai's got a problem, as that final whistle does blow. 2 away matches, and in both of them, they have conceded 4 goals.
Full-scale domination from AC Boise, 4-0 victors, and Dennis Kostashin, the headliner.
Absolutely. I mean, that second goal of his, no wonder he's smiling. It's going to be seen many, many times on TV and on social media. The crowd is pumped. The players here for Boise, they're pleased. The goalkeeper, Jonathan Cleaver, excellent match. All round, happy days. No, can't find criticism. If they keep this going, it's going to be a great season there at Boise.
You saw it on your screen, a first home victory in Athletic Club Boise history, and they climb into the top 5 to boot. They defeat Westchester by a dominant 4-0 scoreline, and they control the fixture from wire to wire. We'll take a quick breather here from Boise when we return to look back at the perfect night for the home side. Stick with us.
If you need honest heating, cooling, plumbing, or electrical service, call Diamond today. For over 25 years, Diamond's 5-star heroes have been serving Treasure Valley homeowners with quality and integrity. Diamond, your home's best friend.
You want more than care. You want a partner who hears you. Bring it. At St. Alphonsus, we listen to your story, your concerns, what makes you, you. We connect the dots, catch what matters early. Not just today, but for the long haul. Checkups are just the start. We're here for every chapter. So, bring it.
In 1977, Ford F-Series became America's best-selling trucks. 33 million trucks later, we've kept that title every year since. And that's a formula we plan on repeating. F-Series, America's best-selling trucks for 49 years and counting. And Ford, the most awarded brand for initial quality among trucks by J.D. Power. Ford F-Series, built Ford tough.
We welcome you back to Idaho, where AC Boise makes a massive statement in their second home fixture. A 4-0 throttling of Westchester SC to climb into the top 5 of the USL League One table. Sam Goldfarb, Gary Bailey breaking down all of the action we just witnessed, starting with our full-time highlights. And Gary, it was a throttling from the get-go for AC Boise.
Certainly was. They put lots of pressure on, got a lot of set pieces, and from this one, Jake Krul wins the header really well, and it drops for Tumi Moshabani, who toe pokes it over the line from 2 yards out.
On 16 minutes, Moshaban putting the home side in front, and 5 minutes later, they would compound the advantage.
Nick Moon gets on the ball. Have a look here. He gets it, And then immediately Kostishin runs off his shoulder, and Moon waits and waits, finds some space for Kostishin, and then from a very tight angle, Kostishin tucks it right in the far corner.
That was the goal that doubled the lead, and then the third goal, which is tonight's move of the game presented by Restore Hyper Wellness. This is a worldie from Dennis Kostishin.
From one end to the other, they build it up, but when he cuts inside here, he takes a look and just sticks it right in the top corner, over the goalkeeper, down it goes. And it's quite a tight angle. It's not an easy one there, but he just bends it absolutely perfectly.
Picture perfect tally, and they went out a fourth before the night was out. Luan Brito off the bench onto the score sheet.
Now they kept the pressure going here. Moshabani cuts it back, and it was just pressure. They won the ball here. Euler gets on it, has a shot. It gets put back in by Euler, and Luan Brito is there, just the toe poker of the line. But a whole bunch of players putting in a great effort there. Euler in particular, once and twice here, knocks it in. And Brito says, thank you very much.
4 goals for AC Boise and dominant from the jump. You look at the full-time stats, they held the Westchester side that previously led the league in goals without a shot on target for the entirety of the 90 minutes, Gary. It is jaw-dropping stuff from Boise.
Yeah, not a shot on target. It's a major concern for Westchester. 2 away matches, conceded 4 in both of those. Expected goals, 1.37 for Boise. So to get 4 goals from that is impressive. 0.46 for Westchester. Not good. They do need to improve on the road, and I'm sure George Jakai will do a job on them to turn them around for the next away game.
That is where we leave things from the Treasure Valley, where AC Boise makes a monster statement on home soil. Their first home victory in club history, and it comes by way of a 4-0 thrashing. For our terrific broadcast crew, my broadcast partner, Gary Bailey, I'm Sam Goldfarb, saying so long from Boise, where AC Boise wins 4-0. Have a great rest of your night, everyone. From Idaho, signing off.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League cannot be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the express written consent of the United Soccer League.
I want to dance my life.